Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacob and I'm sailing 31,000 nautical miles around the world single-handed. But not taking the easy route, instead going around the legendary Cape Horn. Over the last several years, sailing vessel Wolf was prepared for this voyage. Hey and welcome back. In my last video I told you about my plan of sailing around the world solo. But in order to do that, there still needs to be a lot done on board Wolf to make her ready for this voyage. So I traveled all the way across Europe, from my home in Austria back to the Netherlands. I've been here in Lelystad for about 3 days now, since traveling from Austria up here, and those 3 days were extremely work intensive. There were a lot of small things to do, like repairing the emergency tiller that wasn't working correctly, then changing the forehatch because the old one was completely out of its life, and a lot of other small things. But those are finally done, and now the main work basically starts. And that work can be divided into two main groups, which first is the electrical one and secondly is the deck equipment one, everything that's like on deck, standing rigging, etc. And in the electrical stuff, the power management needs to be solved. So at the moment I don't have anything to charge my batteries on the way, despite the engine, the generator on the engine. So there will be solar panels installed on the back of the boat. An AIS needs to be installed, bilge pump, etc. All that is coming up now. But first, delivery I've been waiting for arrived. So that is the first very important thing to install. So let's get that one. A quick visit of the harbor office later, and I finally held the first package in my hand. Oh, hello. It would actually be ideal to not drop them in the water. Yeah. Okay, so those two packages are the solar system, which will be installed on the back of the boat, on the stern, on the port and starboard side. Okay, so we have the cable, which is 15 meters long, I believe, from the solar panels to the controller, to which we come now, which is that one right here. And that model is the Victron MPPT 100-15. So it can handle 220 watts of charging power, which should be enough for these solar panels, and can be connected to via Bluetooth in the Victron app. Then what else do we have? I don't exactly know what this is. Let's have a look inside. Okay, so that is a SmartShunt, I believe. At least I ordered it. Yep, that is the Victron SmartShunt. So what that thing basically does is it tells how much current is in your batteries, but not like a classical voltmeter, which only shows the current, how much volt is in the batteries, but it actually shows how much current is left in percent in the Victron app, or a separate display. That is a cable seal for the cables which go from the solar panels to the charging controller. Okay, so those are the two solar panels that are 110 watts each, so 220 watts of peak charging power, which should be enough to power Wolf with the autopilot running, the plotter running, navigation lights, etc. But before I could start the solar panel installation, I needed to get another package which contained the mounts for the solar panels and couldn't be delivered to the marina. So I had to find the service station to which it was delivered nearby. Okay, so the first adventure is now finding that service point from the deliverer to pick up the parcel. I basically have to go through Lelystad to the south, through the whole city, and then try to find that building. Lelystad has been my home port for about 2 years now, and I really started to love this place. It has become like my second home. Cycling along the Batavia Hafen, which is the main harbor in the town, is always something special. Okay, now it just has to be somewhere around the corner here. And I'm trying to find it. And I was actually right. Now I just have to see how I get that thing to the boat on the bike. That will be fun, but yeah. And now I really have to hurry up before the pizza shop closes, where I cycled by yesterday, because they close at 2200 and it's 1 hour before. So let's get to there. Bye once more. Hi. Hi. Could I get one pizza Hawaii? And so we made our way through the nightlife of Lelystad back to Wolf, which was already waiting in the marina. I have something you probably don't have right now. A pizza. Okay, and we are back on board Wolf. It is 11:30 right now. But today I still want to install the solar charge controller. So that is the next and probably last task for today. So my plan is to install the charge controller itself down there below the nav station, somewhere next to the main fuse box on the right side or somewhere. Then lead the cable through the nav station and all the way through the aft cabin behind the steering wheel, and from there up to the solar panels on the deck. So good morning. Today is the second day of the solar panel installation, and yesterday I already have installed the controller itself, and now it's on to lay the cables. I think that's what you call a healthy breakfast. Pizza leftovers from yesterday and a bottle of water and a coffee later on. But that's everything I have on board right now. I really have to visit the supermarket later on. Yeah, let's work with that. The first step was emptying the aft cabin to get access to the cable channels in which I wanted to lead the solar cables. Then I cut the cables which connect the panels to the charge controller to the right length and feed them from the charge controller through the battery compartment and the cable channel to the back of the boat, where they will be connected to the solar panels later on. And now let's clean up here. Because this is an absolute apocalyptic chaos here, and then let's get something for dinner. But before that, let's finally install the solar panels itself. I marked where they needed to be screwed onto the mounts, drilled a few holes nearly into the panels itself, and then it was finally done. The next morning, after a quick swim to wake up, I cycled to the neighboring marina where the Sailmaker is located, which made a third reef in my mainsail. Okay, and we have our mainsail back. Now the only challenge is to get that huge thing to my marina a few kilometers away. Okay, somehow everything works in some way, and if it don't works, you have to make it work, I guess. And so I finally had a third reef in my mainsail. A quick breakfast later, I decided to turn Wolf around with the stern to the pontoon. Then it was time to collect another parcel from the harbor office, which contained the AIS, the antenna, and everything that was connected to it. And that is the AIS black box itself. That it is. So I plan to install that unit, right? Also where I installed the other stuff, right down there on that free spot. So that will go right there, and I will connect the power up behind the nav station right there, and the antenna cable will go along the batteries below there, up there, and back to the stern. I just need to find a short screw, because right behind there, where I want to mount the AIS transponder, is the 230 volts charger, and it would be ideal to not drive a screw into that. So let's see if I can find one. So this is the power cable, and we only need the two big ones here. The other one is NMEA 0183. We don't need that because I have a NMEA 2000 network on board. Plug that one into here. So that's what it looks like behind there, the whole cabling. Now I have to find the input somewhere here. I left free for the AIS and plug it in. And the second thing is the GPS patch antenna, which will go from the transponder through the nav station and somewhere up there. The next day, after the AIS installation was done, I decided to finally rig up Wolf again. So the foresail halyard got laid back into the cockpit, and the Genoa got set into the furling system again. Okay, and now we are going up the mast. I'm testing a new method today, which is basically taken from the alpinism. This technique comes from crevasse rescue in mountaineering. You basically have two little ropes, one for your feet and one for your harness, with which you can climb up a vertical rope, in this case the main halyard. Up on the mast, I attached the line for the courtesy flag again to the spreader and did a quick check of the rigging. As the sun slowly began to disappear behind the horizon, it was time to finish the last job of the day. So that little thing basically goes in between your batteries and the negative cable, and has a cable to the positive terminal of the battery, and that way it can measure how much current is going out of the batteries or into the batteries, and the voltage of the batteries, and then with a lot of math it can calculate how much percentage is in the batteries and how much time you have left until they're empty. And as I already said, the huge advantage of having a SmartShunt installed is that you can see how much current is actually in your batteries, and not just guessing, basically, how I have done it until now. Okay, so here we are. I don't know how many hours later, but a lot of hours later. It's half past 3 a.m. right now. And now I finished that whole thing. So basically, the SmartShunt right here right over there, and the whole cable stuff at the batteries. So there is the battery monitor, and at the moment we are charging with around 260 watts because we're on shore power and have a state of charge of 100% and unlimited time remaining because we're on shore power. But yeah, seems to work. I already set up the whole battery thing, 230 ampere hours, 30.2 volts of charge voltage, etc. That whole stuff. Yeah, it actually seems to work. Now the only thing remaining is cleaning up that mess here. I don't know how, but when you're working on something on a boat, it always gets messy. I'm trying my best to avoid it, but yeah, you can see the result, I guess. Okay, so it's around 24 hours later now, and I'm still figuring out the electrics here because I have one problem. The SmartShunt functions as it should, but my 230 volts charger right here somehow acts like a battery main switch. So it when you switch the charger on, the whole board electric system switches on, which should only be possible by that switch here. And it took me basically the whole day to figure out what the hell was wrong. I had absolutely no clue. I had a few ideas, but that all turned out to be wrong or had no effect at all. Now I think I finally found the reason for it, and plugging it all together right here. Yeah, I just wish to finish that right now. I really don't want to do that anymore. Yeah, let's finish it. The time span covered in this video was almost 3 weeks. 3 weeks of hard boat work and several mental breakdowns. But now Wolf is ready for the voyage ahead. But that is a story for another episode. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. In the next video, my dad comes on board and we sail around the Netherlands for the last time, while the winter weather chaos in the North Sea slowly approaches and we get caught in rough weather several times.